Good morning, everyone. Whether you are here in the sanctuary with us today or joining online, perhaps even watching the service later today or later in the week, you are very welcome today at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Arlington. Today is Sunday, January 8th, 2023, and my name is Ashley Grieve. I'm a youth group advisor and a member of the Board of Trustees here at UUCA. UUCA is an intentionally welcoming congregation, welcoming of people of all ages, all races and ethnicities, all backgrounds, all abilities, all sexual orientations, and we also are a community that draws from a diverse array of spiritual and religious backgrounds and traditions. And it is exactly for this reason that it is so important and so meaningful that you've all come to participate today, whether that means in person or if you're participating online. I just want to say thank you for that, because that is the way that we can be our most authentic, representative, and inclusive selves as a community. I'd also like to extend an invitation to the events that we're hosting next weekend in honor of and in celebration of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. There will be musical events on Friday and Saturday, of course a service on Sunday, and a service day event here at the church on Monday morning. So I hope to see you at one of those, or directly after service at coffee hour. If you are here in person today, it's just outside of the sanctuary and take a left. Thank you.
You all like each other so much, and it's the first Sunday we're back together, so you get to get up and greet each other. Say hello to your neighbor, bump an elbow, do an air hug. Hello.
Hi.
Happy New Year. Hello. Good to see you. Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
I'm not offended.
Good morning.
Hello.
Nice to see you.
How are you doing?
Good, good. Oh. Elbow bump. Hello. Good morning. Good to see you all. Good.
New Year.
Good morning. Nice to see you. Hi, guys. Good to see you. Hello. Elbow bump. Good. We are back together for the first time in 2023. That's extraordinary. I offer you a call to worship this morning with that in mind and looking forward to the new year. Out of the clamor of the city and the overwhelming catapult towards busyness, away from the noise of our generally crowded lives, we come here to rest in this moment, in this place, set apart from our endless to-do lists. We choose to embrace this seventh day as a day of rest. We choose to come here. Remember, you've chosen to be here. Something in your life guided you to arrive here right now. Perhaps you looked at a website. Maybe someone called and said, come to church with me. We come here. Whatever tasks and cares await you for this brief time, stop. Simply rest. Take a breath. Allow your spirit to be nourished and fed. Let the waves of turmoil that are in your mind and in your heart gradually subside. We have come here. We join together, holy and whole, demanding nothing, yet offering kindness, empathy, benevolence, and love. So come, right here, right now. Let us unite in community and worship this morning. Let us do what we do best: support, love, and simply come together. We come here.
Each week we light a candle of compassion in solidarity with those who suffer around the world. This week in particular, we hold in our hearts those who are experiencing violence around the globe and those experiencing violence here in the United States, including continuing gun violence. We hold all who are ill or who are injured, including those injured in their line of work on sporting fields, and hold how we as a people respond with care and compassion. And we hold in our hearts and in our prayers our governing leaders, that they may move forward with order and thoughtfulness and care in the work of our country. I invite you now to join us and to join Unitarian Universalists around the world in our chalice lighting. The words for ours are in your order of service. We gather together as a community of memory and hope to celebrate life and its infinite possibilities for love. We light this chalice as a symbol of the light within every human heart. May our individual sparks meet and merge, bringing both light and warmth to the world. I invite you now to rise in body or in spirit or in voice to join in singing our opening hymn, number 170 in your gray hymnal.
Justice-seeking people. We are justice-seeking people, and we are singing for our lives. We are justice-seeking people, and we are singing young and old together. We are young and old together, and we are singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we are singing of many colors. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing straight together. We are gay and straight together, and we are singing for our lives. We are gay and straight together, and we are singing for our lives. We are a gentle, loving people. We are a gentle, loving people, and we are singing for our lives. We are a gentle, loving people, and we are singing for our lives.
Hello, there we are. I believe we have some young and young at heart here this morning that would want to come forward for the wisdom lesson. Maybe one or two. There's one. Oh, there's two. There's one I know really well. This is my grandson's here today. Yes. There's some more. So I have a story for you guys that I'm going to try to tell you without notes, which is always a risk. It's always a risk. But we'll keep church interesting this morning. The story I want to tell you is called The Two Champions. Does anybody know what a champion is? Yes. Somebody who's really good at something. Yes, yes. Somebody who's won a series of games or something. Yes.
Like someone who won the World Cup.
That's right. Someone who won the World Cup is on our minds and our feet. Yes. So this story called The Two Champions is about two different kingdoms that were on the same mountain and in the valley below. Those on the mountain were called the kingdom of the sun. Those who lived in the valley were called the kingdom of the moon. So they had lived together not so peacefully, trying to share this mountain and share this valley. The kingdom of the sun was usually out and about in the daytime. They were known to be fabulous farmers. Their vegetables and their fruit and their produce was astounding. Those who were in the kingdom of the moon were mostly working and out at nighttime. And they too were farmers, but they had learned to farm the underworld. They were miners. They knew how to go for minerals. They knew how to find gemstones. And they too were harvesting the earth, but from a totally different perspective. Unfortunately, the kings and queens in these two kingdoms did not get along. And they thought they should have the entire mountain for themselves. So those who were in the valley wanted the mountain. Those who were on the mountain wanted to have the valley. And they ended up getting to such a disagreement, they were about to go to war. And when they were about to go to war, there were two voices that were really, really smart. Instead of putting all of our people in danger in a war, let's send our champions out to solve this problem. So those who were in the kingdom of the moon sent forth their bravest, strongest champion. Those who were in the kingdom of the sun did the same, sent forth their bravest, strongest champion. These two champions had shields, they had swords, they were wearing metal headgear so they couldn't get hit in the head with a sword. They were strong and sinewy and muscly, and the two of them alone went to the field of battle. And guys, they battled. All day long, they fought. You could hear clanging swords. You could hear grunting. You could hear them yelling at each other. They fought from morning until lunchtime and didn't take a break. Then they fought all afternoon. By the end of the day, sweaty, exhausted, with a few nicks and cuts, they decided to stop. We will battle again in the morning, they agreed. And they laid down on the battlefield and they put their weapons down. They were too tired to even go back to their camps, and they began to fall asleep. As they lay there on the ground, these two great giant champions, one of them said aloud, "I miss my wife." And the other said, "Was your wife beautiful?" He said, "Yes." She had long, flowing blonde hair. And the other champion said, "I miss my children. I usually read to them and tuck them in at nighttime." And the other champion said, "I would miss that too. My kids are wonderful." And in that moment, they began to share their stories, and they began just to talk to each other. They talked about what the people in the sun grow. They talked about what the moon people dig from under the earth. They talked about their houses. The people of the sun have lots and lots of windows because they love the sun. The people of the moon, who are usually up at nighttime, have comfy, cozy homes with candlelight and lanterns and fireplaces. These two men lay on the ground of battle, telling their stories to each other. Do you have anybody that you tell stories to about your life? That you share things with? No? Nobody? Do you tell anybody things about your life? None of you? You ain't got no friends?
I have lots of friends,
You have lots of friends,
but we don't really talk about.
but then you don't talk about things in your life. So this is a tough crowd that I have right here today. No storytelling. Oh, if they ask, then you tell them things. Yes, sir.
My classmates.
Classmates. Thank you. Yes. Some of your friends. Thank you for helping Reverend Carol out. Yes. So as the men lay on the battlefield, oh, one more. Yes.
I tell all my friends.
You tell all your friends, all your business, right? They know everything about you. Yes. Okay. No notes, remember. So as the men lay on the battlefield in the darkness of night, sharing stories, something magical happened. What did they start to become? Friends. The telling of stories cements people together and makes friends. In the morning, when they awoke, because they dozed off for a little, and they stood up achy and creaky from fighting all day the day before, and they started to put their armor back on and pick up their sword and pick up their shield, they looked at each other in the eye, and at the same time, both of them dropped their weapons. And the champion from the moon, people said, I cannot fight you. And the champion from the sun, people said, I cannot fight you either, for you are my friend. Let us go back and tell the people we need to find a way. Fighting will not solve this problem. And the reason they were able to do that? Why? Because they shared their stories, right? And they learned that each of them was a human being, right? And that they were valuable to each other. The two champions, valiant, strong, ready to fight. But you know what? They figured out a better way. That's your wisdom lesson today, the two champions. And now we're going to try and sing you out to your classes. You all know the words to this song. It's in your order of service. Please join me in singing our children out. Peace to you on your way. May you grow in love each day, meeting new friends and opening your mind to the wonders of the world you will find. To the wonders of the world you will find.
Seems like you did okay without notes there, Rev CTC. Our first reading, for which I do have notes, thank you very much, is from Dana Worsnop, and it's called I Want to Be with People. Often, people say that they love coming to a place with so many like-minded people. I know just what they are getting at, and I know that they aren't getting it quite right. I don't want to be with a bunch of people who think just like me. I want to be in a beloved community where I don't have to think like everyone else to be loved, to be eligible for salvation. I want to be with people who value compassion, justice, love, and truth, though they have different thoughts and opinions about all sorts of things. I want to be with independent-minded people of good heart. I want to be with people who have many names and no name at all for God. I want to be with people who see me in my goodness and dignity, who also see my failings and foibles, and who still love me. I want to be with people who feel their interconnection with all existence and let it guide their footfalls upon the earth. I want to be with people who see life as a paradox and don't always rush to resolve it. I want to be with people who are willing to move along the tightrope that is life and who will hold my hand as I move along mine. I want to be with people who let church call them into a different way of being in the world. I want to be with people who support, encourage, and even challenge each other to higher and more ethical living. I want to be with people who inspire one another to follow the call of the Spirit. I want to be with people who covenant to be honest, engaged, and kind, who strive to keep their promises and hold me to the promises I make. I want to be with people who give of themselves, who share their hearts and minds and gifts. I want to be with people who know that human community is often warm and generous, sometimes challenging, and almost always a grand adventure. In short, I want to be with people like you.
This is the time in our service when we normally have a prayer or a meditation, or just take a moment to center ourselves. As we move into that space, first I invite you to breathe in. Just take a breath in and let that breath out. And again, take a breath in and let that breath out. And feel yourself. Feel your bottom on the pew. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel your spirit and your heart right here in this room. What I offer you today is a bit of a meditation and a prayer in one. Source of sources, mother, love, that which moves around us and works through us. Draw near to this place and these people. Here we stand at the start of a new year, basking in the beauty of our life, knowing we have blessings to count and ready to open our hearts to the future. As the dawn broke this morning on this auspicious day, this new year, we gave thanks for all that we hold dear: our health, our family, our friends. Today, as we draw near to this place that is our sanctuary, our home place, let us release our grudges, our anger, and discomforts. For these things are nothing but binding chains that hold us in darkness. Let us live each day in the most loving of ways. Let us serve all who are in need, regardless of race, color, creed, or religious beliefs. Let us keep the divine as we each know and experience it. Let us keep the divine of our own understanding in our hearts and minds. Let us lead the world from darkness to light, from falsehood to truth, from right to wrong. Let us remember that we are all one body. May we embrace all and discriminate against none as we move into this year. On this Sunday, we come seeking. We seekers want to be catalysts for light and love. We want to inspire those whose eyes we meet at home and whose gaze we encounter on the street. Let us seek the stranger and offer them comfort. We come together today striving for the strength to stand tall in the face of conflict and the courage to use our voices even when we are afraid, knowing we are capable of gracefully choosing action over fear. As we slip into 2023, we embrace compassion and we invite it to walk on one side of us. And we ask that mercy and forgiveness and joy support us on the other. For the combination of compassion and mercy, forgiveness, and joy will move us through 2023 and into our futures. May these things be so. Amen.
Morning. Please rise in body and or spirit and sing our next hymn, number 123. The words for the Spanish and the English are in your order of service. Spirit of life, did I say? Spirit of life.
Fuente de amor, ven hacia mí y al corazón cántale tu compasión. Sopla amor, sube en la mar, hasta moldear la justicia de la vida. Libérame, fuente de amor, ven a mí in English. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Oh, in the wind, rise in the sea. Spirit of life, come to me. Come.
Oh, sorry.
Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Good job, you guys, even though I messed up a little bit.
It's all right. Spirit of life's just flowing through us. It's coming where it goes. The Spirit of life does flow through us. It flows through this congregation, which is so generous with its time, with its gifts of music and of story, and with its resources. Here at UUCA, we share our plate, our offering. Each week we give 70% to a recipient chosen for the month, and 30% remains for the ministry of the congregation. This month, we are sharing the plate with our youth group, and in particular with their work for justice in the world. So our youth group chooses their social justice activities through a democratic process. You can imagine, like any Unitarian Universalist conversation and committee, there's plenty of opinions. This year, they will be returning to their spring break trip, which they have been unable to do the last couple of years because of COVID. And so we especially want to support them and make it possible for them to do the work of justice in the world and be themselves transformed in so doing. And so I invite you to give generously. We welcome your gifts by check. Just share the plate or offering in the memo line, by credit card on our website or via text, and of course in paper money as well. We will receive your gifts of resources as we receive gifts of music from our wonderful guest musicians today. Thank you.
When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot, I am longing to say, it is well, it is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. It is well, it is well with my soul. And hasten the day when my faith shall see sight. The clouds be rolled back as a scroll. The trumpet shall resound, showers of love shall descend. Even so, it is well. It is well with my soul. It is well, it is well with my soul.
Well, having received that gift, I invite our gifts forward from our ushers. And I invite all of you to join me in our blessing of the offering found in your order of service. We bless and receive these gifts, opening our hearts to true generosity. Let us be grateful when we give, be it time, talent, or treasure. Let us be grateful for our needs and the experience of vulnerability. Let us be grateful for those who share their gifts to nurture this congregation.
I want to take a moment here and offer the deepest of gratitude to our musicians this morning, Amanda Thomas and David Underhill. Wood. Underwood. We are in the midst of a bit of a musical crisis here. If you all are not aware of it, Sophia has injured herself. And in the period between mid-December and now, we've been scrambling a little. And these two gorgeous musicians and friends of mine were able to step in and help us. Amanda will be with us today for the MLK events and next Sunday. And David is with us this weekend. We are grateful. Thank you all so much. Yes. And that means that I have to follow that singing regularly for the next 2 Sundays. Thank you, friend. I love you too so much. Yes. Our second reading today picks up where the reading that Amanda did for you about the people you want to be with. This is called I Am a Unitarian Universalist Because of My Hands, and it was written by M.K. Morn. I am a Unitarian Universalist because of my hands. I can remember my early impressions of UUism. One of the things that drew me in was my sense that within this faith tradition, there is a serious commitment to translating our intellectual understandings to real action in the world. I sensed a striving for integrity, consistency, and faithfulness. I met people who spoke of concern for the environment, and then they went out in the world and tried to preserve it. I met people who believed in civil rights for all people. They marched, they wrote letters, they practiced equity in their professional and personal lives. And then I learned about the part of the Unitarian Universalist tribe that has gone before, about ministers and lay people in the 19th century who stood up for the abolition of slavery, about Unitarian Universalists who have led the way with religious freedom, who have led the way with the separation of church and state. I learned about men and women who spent their entire lives struggling for the rights of women and gay and lesbian people. Now, I was not naive. I knew that all of us, Unitarian Universalists included, often fall short of living our principles every single day. But still, I was drawn to the integrity and the faithfulness that I felt was present in those congregations. Not all of us will march or write letters or give speeches, but a commitment to contributing to a better world, that bears repeating. A commitment to committing to a better world is something that Unitarian Universalists I know share with each other every single day. The work of my hands is welcome here. My hands and my head are drawn together here in this community full of faithfulness and integrity. The work of my hands is welcome here. I am a Unitarian Universalist in part because my hands are encouraged to do the work of justice in the world. I am a Unitarian Universalist because of my hands, by M.K. Morn.
bathe in the healing rivers, rivers of grace. Come bathe in the healing rivers, rivers of grace. Come bathe in the healing rivers, rivers of grace flowing down, down to my soul.
So I had a sermon. You know, the worst part of having to preach after your friend singing when she's so good is you have to remind yourself you invited her. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you. Because I did. I was like, Amanda, come and sing for the people. She said, okay, Carol. So I do have a sermon for you, and it is about community, and I will share that with you. But as I think of community, I want to give you an example of community in practice. Amanda arrived yesterday. She is a dear friend of mine. We've known each other for approximately 10 years in this interesting world of Unitarian Universalism. She has taught me a great deal about presence on the chancel, about how to use music to lift up, to soothe, to bring down a congregation, invaluable lessons that only someone that you love and that knows music could share with you. So yesterday, she arrives, got on a plane early in the morning. She arrived at DCA around 12 noon. It was due in at 11:59. I don't understand about the times with planes, why it wasn't due at noon. It was due at 11:59. Regardless, it actually got in at like 11:44. Regardless, I was in College Park, Maryland, when she texted me, I'm here. And I texted back, okay. And she texted, thankfully. I checked a bag, a big bag, I need to pick it up. I was like, okay, because I'm not in the car yet. So she goes about her business, gets off the plane, goes to get her bag. I text again, do you have your bag yet? No, but I'm almost there. I was like, okay, let me know when you have your bag. The next text went like this. Got my bag. I was like, hey, in the DMV, we just get an Uber from the airport. So why don't you do that? Here's my address. My dear friend Amanda, that I've known for 10 plus years and who knows me very well, simply said, cool, I got you. She is in my community. What Amanda knew is what was happening in my house in College Park was the cleaning of bathrooms and the changing of sheets, was the vacuuming of carpets and stairs, was the attempt to put baby powder on the dog to freshen him up a little bit, because there was no time to have washed the dog, was the general what takes place in your home when company is coming in a very shortened period of time because it was a busy week. She is my community. She knows me. And compassion and forgiveness were right there in the simple word, cool, I got you. I am fortunate that she is in my life. So about community and UUs. At this time of year, at the beginning of the year, I usually question myself about why I am a UU minister. That in itself is a long series of questions and gnashing of teeth and crying, and it's kind of ugly. But it comes out the other side with this, and I'm ready for Sunday. But I question this thing that we do. Why are we Unitarian Universalist? How do our actions clearly express both our systems, and there's not just one system of belief here, our systems of belief, and the theologies that are gathered in this one space? I know sitting right here in this room, we have people who practice Buddhism. We have folks here who are naturalists. We have those who would call themselves agnostic, humanist, atheists. We have a whole bunch of kind of Protestants. Maybe they were Presbyterian, or maybe they were Methodist, perhaps Lutheran. We have some folks here who are or were Catholic. We have people here who say their belief system follows the pagan belief system. So as you use, what I'm always called back to is, how do we do it? How do we manage to have all of those people in the same room? And how do we live out our faith in that combination of difference? What do we do? Do we work for justice? Yes. Do we actively try to save the planet? Absolutely. Do we collect canned goods and then take them to the local food bank or make sure they go into the food pantry? Yes. Do we volunteer with literacy programs for children, for adults, teaching them to read? Yes. Do we go and answer phones during the PBS fundraising drive? Yes. And you know what we do that I love the most? You use write letters. Now I want you to look deep inside of yourself and remember the last time you wrote a letter to a congressperson, to the editor, to the mayor, to the dog catcher, to the chief of public works that handles your trash. You use write letters that are brimming with dismay, holding irritation, and have brilliant indignation on every page. You all know about these letters. I have opened the Washington Post and seen an editorial, and before I got to the name, I knew, you. That's who wrote that. Somebody was up early on Friday when that trash truck came by and did not take his recycling, or worse, when the trash truck came and dumped the recycling in with the rest of the garbage. They had things to say after that. You use write letters with brilliant indignation, letting people know the state of the world. We do all those things. And I will put the humor down now and say this with deep, deep gratitude. We do them pretty damn well. We also do something else, and that's what this sermon really is about. We build community. You build the beloved community. We plant seeds of community and water and nurture them. We make sure that when you come into one of our spaces, you know you are supposed to be here. In ways large and small, we welcome, we nurture, and we build community. What happens once you start to build a community is that community grows, and then you become community. That may be the most important thing that I've said in that small space of this sermon. We build community, we nurture community, but we become community. We're good at that too. We're good at the small ways we build community, like when you're outside on the ramp and someone new is coming and you just say, "Good morning, glad you're here." We build it in the larger ways when you make sure you bring groceries for the food pantry that we now have. We build it in even larger ways when you make a donation to a capital campaign or to something specific, like we're about to get new signage for the building. And on Giving Tuesday, people supported that. We build and become, and we grow community in ways large and small every day. And often, we don't even realize that we're doing it. So right now, I'm going to ask you to stand up, please. Rise in body or spirit. Take this hand, your right hand, raise it over your head, and do this. And if you're feeling really grateful, do it on the other side. You may be seated. Now that you know the signature move for saying, yes, I'm doing it well, I want you to do that to somebody else in your life when you catch them doing it well. The way you continue to build community is to catch each other doing good and say, wow, I see that. I see you over there doing that thing. Please keep doing that. Or show me how I can do that. We have a need here at UUCA for people who know how to make coffee. Yes, we do. It's a volunteer job. Just think, I like to drink coffee. Somebody must make this coffee. I like to put cream in my coffee on Sunday. Somebody must stop and buy the cream. That's the kind of thing you can volunteer for and then do this. Or when you go in and you drink that coffee, find out who is the person that already knows how and is making it, and thank them for making sure your caffeine is here and flowing. You see, becoming community, it doesn't just happen all at once or overnight. It doesn't happen just because you come to church on Sunday morning, or you volunteer and bring bagels and cream cheese, or you make the coffee. No, becoming community is not a single direct action. It is a series of minor events and major events that weave themselves together into the cloth that is community. It's interesting how growing in community can sneak up on you. It creeps in softly like low-lying fog on a tobacco field, or better yet, like a teenager coming in the back door after curfew, stealthily, quietly. It happens when we sing a hymn, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In, or I'm gonna let it shine, or say the words, nothing but peace is enough. Our communities are formed and reformed every time we are loving towards one another. Every Sunday that we show up at church and are present for one another, every day that we come together with patience, with kindness, with warmth. At their best, our brotherhoods and sisterhoods, our UU congregations are grounded with folks that are truly affectionate, the kind of affection that grows when you work side by side, when you're able to let go of petty frustrations, when you realize that differences don't matter and you want to be engaged at a deeper level. We become community when we open our hearts to one another. I want to share with you an experience I had watching community grow. There was a point in my seminary experience when I was preparing to be a minister, when I served as a CPE unit, as an assistant chaplain at the Hebrew Home of Greater Washington, which is an amazing place in Rockville, Maryland. I would love to be there when I am old enough for them to let me in. They serve their elders and the folks who are about to be ancestors beautifully. I was on my regular rounds. I had talked to Rabbi Jim, and I heard singing. Like coming from the front room, from the lobby-ish area. And I went out, and there was a group of 5 or 6 people sitting there. One of them had a little tiny mouth harp, hitting notes, and they were just gently singing. Every song they sang, I knew, whether it was Amazing Grace or another hymn, whether it was something by Peter, Paul, and Mary. Every song they sang, I knew. And they went through like 4 or 5 as I stood there and watched them. And then they got up and they were about to move. And I said, what is this? What is this singing? And one of them, sort of a leader, said, we sing for the residents. I said, you sing for the residents? They said, yes, we sing. We go from room to room to room, and we sing for the residents. It brings them joy. And like in the story, The Grinch, where they say your heart grew 2 sizes that day, I was astounded. I said, yeah, where's your music? Where's your notes? How do you know? They said, no, we only sing songs we know and that they know. In particular, we sing in the memory care unit, because singing a song brings people present. I asked if I could come, being all, eager and a young minister almost. And they actually weren't real sure if I should come at all. But they had grace, and they said I could come. So I spent about 45 minutes with them, going into a couple of rooms, being with them, watching them stand around a bed or on one side of a bed, and simply singing to someone who was ill or not quite all the way with us anymore because of Alzheimer's or dementia. Stunning. The simple beauty of the tiny communities they formed in every single room they went into, stunning. There was one room we went into where the person who was there was sound asleep. She never woke up. But her daughter had been sitting there, obviously a long time. And as they started to sing, she started to cry. And I thought in that moment, they've done it. They've made the connection. The person they went to sing to never moved. But the daughter, when they were finished singing, was so grateful. She wiped her face. She wanted to hug all of them. And they told her as they left, one of them said, "We'll come back." And the daughter said, "Will you sing to her if I'm not here?" And they said, "That's especially when we'll sing." We build community tiny pieces at a time. What we do is explained beautifully by the Reverend Naomi King. These are her words. What we do in Unitarian Universalist communities extends beyond our doors. It is in everything we do and touch in our entire lives. We're doing church, even when we're not at church. We're doing church the 6 other days of the week, not just on Sunday. We're doing church everywhere we go, every moment, and every time we make the choice to constantly stand with this faith, to stand up for justice, and to make hope real. When we stand with our liberal UU faith, we are living out what we say, that for us, nothing is worse than sliding into conventional behavior. Standing in this UU faith means making choices for freedom. With our each and every action, we are saying and dancing and witnessing and singing to the world. When we reach out a hand and shoulder to one another, when we attend to those who are hurting, when we move beyond the I into the us and form a truly universal we, when we open the circle, we are building community and standing with our faith. That is what UUs do, over and over, again and again, in ways large and small. We open our hearts to the stranger. We welcome a visitor coming for the first time. We see someone who's a little bit timid and a little bit confused and ask them, "What can I do to help you?" We often help people that we never see again. That is us. That is what a UU is, someone who lives out their faith with action. Now I want to ask you a question and give you a piece of homework. When you are in a situation and you have helped someone, they may ask you, "Why did you help me?" You should say, "Because I'm a UU." You should. But you should be ready for the next question. What's a UU? Right? You all have had this question come to you. What is a UU? Well, liberal, and we let everybody's welcome, and not creedal. No, we don't do that. We don't have the creed thing. So your homework is this. When you are asked what is a UU, please have an answer. Seriously. 20-second answer. 20-word answer. Be able to say to someone what this faith is and why you go to church. Short, simple. You need to know who you are and be able to express it so you can invite them to come to church with you. Because they should be here too in this great place, right? Why are you a Unitarian Universalist? This is your homework. Why do you go to church? Because my people are there. Because it's safe space. because I hear the words of the ancestors, because sometimes there's scripture, because the readings are amazing, because I love the ministers, because the music is outstanding, because it feels like home. Why do you go to church? That's your homework. That's the assignment at the end of the sermon, is to be able to tell people what a UU is and why you go to church. I've been engaged with people who do the intimately hard work of handling folks who have traumatic brain injury and dealing with their families too. That work is all in. The nurses who handle those with traumatic brain injury are definitely a breed apart. I've met two that are UUs. Their laughter is huge. Their tears are gigantic. They live in situations that are so on the edge, and they are measuring the recovery of people in minuscule amounts. I had a conversation with the two of them about faith and why they are UUs. And the simplest thing that one of them said to me that I really want you all to hear is this: I could be nothing else. That might be your answer. Why are you a UU? Because this faith fits me. I couldn't be anything else. The work of building community goes on here. And every time we see pain in the world and respond with compassion, we are doing what UUs do. When we gather 2,000 strong at General Assembly in June, we are doing what UUs do. When we become community and welcome the unfamiliar into our folded arms, we are becoming community. This is a piece of my 20 words. I often say this when people ask me, why are you a UU minister? I am a Unitarian Universalist minister because my church, my faith, and my religion is mine. It is the only place where I am intellectually and spiritually stretched. My faith and fellowship, the diversity they are striving for, is where I feel at home. I have doubts, I have dreams, I have pragmatism also. But in this space, they are able to blend together into what is a satisfying questioning whole. Satisfying questioning whole. Every time you think about community, I want you to think about this place. Every time you make the choice to be intentional and help someone else, I want you to remember this place. I'll leave you with one other story that I told at the 9:15. In the state of Virginia, you can buy alcohol at Harris Teeter's. Did y'all know that? I'm standing in line at Harris Teeter's, bottle of wine, 6-pack, getting irritated because the line is moving pretty slow. I'm shifting. There's probably a little steam coming out of one ear. I got to get on the road. The woman behind me says, "Minister?" And I'm thinking, oh Lord, it's somebody from church. Somebody from UUCA has caught me in Harris Teeter's with liquor. Okay, I'm gonna turn around and explain there's people coming. This liquor is not all for me. That's what I'm gonna say. So I turn around, nobody from our congregation. It's this lovely Latino woman, and she reaches out and hands me a glove, my glove, that I had dropped trying to hold on to my liquor while I'm standing in line going back and forth like this. In that moment, we instantly had community. Here's the thing, I lose gloves every year and I get so mad because I have really big hands and I buy nice gloves. So this is a glove that's leather on the back, that's like suede in here, that's got a special finger so I could use my phone while I keep my glove on. I would have been furious if I got in the car and that glove was missing. All she did is reach out and hand me the glove. And I took it. I said, thank you. And she looked at the liquor, and she looked at me, and she looked at the liquor. And she looked at me and she said, "Minister?" And I said, "I'm a minister." I said, "How do you know I'm a minister?" And she said, "Collar. Collar." I was like, oh. I had just come from an event where I was all collared up, guys. So not only am I wearing a collar in the Harris Teeter and holding liquor, I'm telling the whole world that I need a lot of liquor when I leave from church. Collar. My tiny community in that line at Harris Teeter was trying to take care of me. I took my finger and slipped it up and popped out the collar and put it in my purse. And then I was just in line on a Thursday afternoon getting beer and wine like everybody else. I share that story to say community starts in the small things we do. When we are willing to take a step and help someone else, we become community. When we live out our faith in real time, we become community. When we lay a foundation of peace, when we work for justice, when we champion human rights, when we lift people out of dehumanizing poverty, we are becoming community. As we leave this place, as I close this sermon, I want to offer you some words from Jane Maudlin. She writes this: "The ripples of our actions when we live as our conscience dictates wash up upon distant shores and reshape our world one heart, one neighborhood, one town, one generation at a time. The ripples of your actions matter." Today, I'm challenging you to find the answer to those two questions. What is Unitarian Universalism? 20 words. And why I go to church. And then I want to challenge you to share those answers with people that you meet. We are community here. We hold the joys and the sorrows, the beauty and the bother, the pleasures and the responsibilities that come with it. And my friends, there is room for more here. Let that be what you take from this sermon. There is room for more at the table. And in 2023, we will need community. Amen.
Spirit, sing our final hymn, closing hymn, number 131, Love Will Guide Us. Love will guide us. Here we go. Love will guide us. Peace has tried us. Hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us. Love will guide us. Peace has tried us. Hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. Amen.
Yet we remain connected by our concern, our compassion, our faith, and our unified desire to change the world. Dear friends, remember that connection. Hold it tightly against your heart until we are gathered in this space again. As you move into the days and the week before you, be strong, be loving, be true, be kind, be purposeful, be empathetic. I send you forth with this blessing that was given to me. It is an Eskimo blessing. The circle within my home is more beautiful than the day when it was shaped and given to me, for it contains all the faces I know and I love. All is more beautiful. Life is more beautiful. I am grateful for these guests in my home and my heart and the weaving of our lives together. The circle within my home is more beautiful than the day when it was first shaped. Leave this place knowing the person to the left of you and to the right of you wants to be in relationship with you. Leave this place knowing you're going to make mistakes, but this is where you get to try again. Leave this place knowing, most importantly of all, you are never on this journey alone. Leave this place knowing these things. Blessed be.